when I'm not social distancing or frantically running to the bread store, I'm a DP, DP director, you know, more on the DP side of things.
Sure,
So,
absolutely. And how long have you been doing that?
so I've been, I mean, gosh, so I started in '08. Well, when was that first film that we did together? That was like the first real. Can you see me, Mark? Oh,
Yeah,
I'm back.
yeah. You just dropped out for a minute.
Yeah. So the first, I think I've been DPing, honestly, I would say 5 years. Well, 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12. Since like 12 or 13, 2012 or 13. So I'm not sure how many years that is. Was it 12, 13?
Yeah, but that's fine. But you've been steeped in this business and in the tech for longer than that.
Oh yeah. I mean, 2008, I did a movie with you. I think you were there. All's Fair in Love, right? I think you were on that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, kind of like, I've told this story before. At that time, I think that was like the second second or first show in Michigan as a red show. And my schooling, I had went to a school called Ringling for computer animation, and then I left that school and went to Tisch for about a year and a half. I did film, so we did like 16 millimeter. Well, anyways, I got hired on that show as I think it was a DITPA back then, and which you would never put a PA in in front of doing all the transcodes for the show, the rushes. But back then they were like, this PA knows how to use a computer. Let's have him do transcodes. And so I got put on that by my boss, who was the DIT at the time, and rest is history. Got in the union, and movies ever since then. So
Right. Well, that particular movie was a big war because there were a lot of things that went on, rainy times and flipping schedules, and it really steeped everyone in what we do. Got us into it. So the reason that we're doing this is to try to find out, what's going on in the world. What's going on in your universe? Yeah. Have you lost any work, for example?
Oh yeah, 12 jobs now, and well, no, 13 as of this morning. I had one low budget one just said, hey, we're on hold. There's one more I'm holding on to, so we'll see if that happens, but I doubt it. So the contingency plan, I don't know if you want to hear that, but
I do.
The contingency plan is I'm working on a documentary right now. I'm currently co-directing a documentary with my friend Eric Rubner on roller derby in Flint, Michigan. And they're kind of on hiatus because of the social distancing, but we're going to do one-on-one interviews with, have a 6-foot radius set up. And so that is the plan, to push forward with that. And then I have a couple automotive projects that are like sort of freebie test projects that I'm going to be doing in the studio next week. So that's the contingency right now, to just keep doing stuff.
That's a good idea, right? So, you've got to have a contingency. Absolutely. I mean, I'm trying to get something going myself, and this was one of the things that Andrew had suggested that we do, just start talking to people, find out what's going on in the world. What changes have you noticed as you drive around, and is it
just
quiet?
Quiet. The grocery store is busy. It's where I just came from. The closest thing I can relate this whole experience to is the Soderbergh movie Contagion. I don't know if anybody's watched that film.
It's being watched.
It is literally what's going on right now. And I'm not a gun owner. I wouldn't ever buy a gun, but I can tell you this: at the grocery store yesterday, people were on edge. Arguments in the parking lot. Some guy was there. I don't know. who knows?
Right. It does feel like that. Like you were around during 9/11, right?
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
were you working in the business? I mean, that was a very strange time.
Oh.
Jobs disappeared.
It dropped off again, Mark. I think I know your question. Yes, 9/11. It is very it's very 9/11-esque right now. I mean, I haven't seen people lined up at the gas pumps like I remember in 9/11, but I definitely can say that the grocery store scenario is a lot like 9/11, and yeah, it's kind of freaky. It's really freaky. I've got a little like hoarse voice. I was working out in the cold, and you talk and people, oh my God, he's got it. He's got the butt. So it's just kind of have to be careful, and when you go into places, it's bizarre. It is really bizarre.
That's my next question. I mean, people are interacting in a different way. You can see it. There's certain eyeing, of each other, and there is a kind of backing off as well if you're too close.
Yeah.
That's really something. My wife works in the healthcare field, and she's a hand therapist. So she is literally, inches from people's faces when she's rubbing their hands. She's wearing gloves, but if she has an itch on her face or she has to wipe her nose or something like that, off come the gloves, wash her hands, back on. And she's keeping, she's doing things differently too. Fortunately, I've lost a lot of work myself. But again, I'm just trying to contingency as best I can.
And I think that a big difference between this and, I've realized a lot of people are using a snow day analogy, that it's, at first it kind of felt like we were all having a prolonged snow day. And I think there's definitely more stress involved with this. Like, everyone's like, now you have all this free time to do whatever you want and work on those projects that have been sitting on the shelves. But I think for a lot of us, it's very stressful, right? I mean, it's stressful to really think about working on. I have a documentary too that's been sitting on the shelf for a long time. It's hard for me to think about like getting to work on that in these times.
Absolutely. Are you a foodie? Have you been?
I am, and we make a lot of, like today I went to, I want to do tomato soup, so I'm going to make it from scratch. So, which I feel like if there's one skill during the Corona apocalypse, it's being able to prepare your own food. Really, I mean, if you, if you're, Sarah, the same thing. Like, she'd much rather make pasta than buy it or whatever. So we've been doing kind of a lot of that. Her dad had given us a lot of canned tomatoes from his garden. So we're going through those, and but it does suck not being able to go to your favorite restaurants. That kind of up here a lot of the restaurants just closed. They're not staying open.
So that's why I've noticed that people are getting into making food, because it's not only necessary, but it's therapeutic.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you noticed on the Facebook the little virus quarantine group?
Yes, I have. Quarantine cuisine.
Cuisine group. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
I love that. Love that. Makes me hungry every time I look at that. But I'm I'm glad that you have prospects, things to keep you going. Got cameras to maintain.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if Andrew has any more questions with you, but I'm thanking you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Steve.